Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? I hope all is well. A little bit later in the evening, but my daughter's not here with me, so I was able to get in another breakdown. Someone in the comment section said, "Yo, can you do Marlon Craft Power?" So I have it pulled up here. I don't know anything about it. It says Flavors Episode 1. Now, it looks like it came out at the start of 2019, but really interested to hear about this one. And let's check it out.
What is power? Is power? What is power? Is power being a star? Tell me what is power? Is it a show on TV on stars? Opposite of coward? Is it not quitting when times is hard? Is it money? Is it control? Is it God? Is it the passion to use force or a lack of desire altogether? Is power caring less? I always cared a lot, nothing felt I ain't have the power.
I always love how woke he is on certain issues, right? Because he seems to understand his place in the world and where he may or may not be privileged and where he may or may not be influential. But it starts off, he says, what is power, right? Is power being a star? He says, tell me, what is power? I like to quote Martin Luther King Jr. He had a speech that was titled, Where Do We Go From Here? And he has a really interesting take. He says, power, properly understood, is nothing but the ability to achieve purpose. It's the strength required to bring about social, political, and economic change. Again, that quote is from Martin Luther King Jr. Let's run this back. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything here.
Being a star, tell me what is power? What is power? Is power being a star? Tell me what is power? Is it a show on TV on stars? Opposite of coward? Is it not quitting when times is hard? Is it money? Is it control? Is it God?
So is it not being a coward, right? He said, is it not quitting when times are hard? Now, power is actually really interesting because it's a complex concept. If you think about it, it includes the ability or the capacity to do or not to do something, right? It's not just, you don't just have physical power, right? It also includes exercising influence, control, or force, or a variety of different means. Power, or more importantly, a lack of power, can have an important impact on people's circumstances and therefore on other parts of their lifestyle, like, for instance, their health, right? Now, power doesn't belong to any one person, but it exists in the relationships between people and groups of people. So power relationships, they can be visible and obvious, but they could also be hidden and covert, right? So it's really important when he talks about power. I think it's important to note, right? Power is it's context specific, right? People can have a lot of power in some situations, but they can be powerless in others. But it sounds like he's just going to go into these different variations of what is power.
Is it a show on TV on stars? Opposite of coward? Is it not quitting when times is hard? Is it money? Is it control? Is it God? Is it the passion to use force or a lack of desire altogether? Is power caring less? I always cared a lot, nothing felt I ain't have the power to bear the stress. So is power being empowered? Is power man-made? Is power privilege? Is power earned and distributed based on structures and skin you? And if your luck is significant, it'd be the latter.
Yeah, I mean, you can have power just by being born white, right? And I don't like to call it white privilege because, when we have the whole, when we talk about race and how we approach race in school, a lot of people have the argument that, I don't want my kid to feel bad because he's white, right? That's what they say. And it's like, we don't want our kids to feel bad. You don't even talk about them. You act like our history doesn't matter, right? So in that type of situation, power, it could be based on the skin color, right? Or where you grow up or socioeconomic status. Just really interesting. And I love intelligent songs like this, right? Just, we're not even 30 seconds in and he's already got me quoting Martin Luther King Jr., right? Just important to sit back, take a step back sometimes and listen to what an artist like Marlon Craft is saying, because he's making you think critically, right?
It is power privilege, is power earned and distributed based on structures and skin you, and if your luck is significant, it'd be the latter. to disaster. Is it material?
Yeah, the quest for power and more power. Yeah, history will say it has led to disaster.
Your lower ethereal, hold on. Is power a slow song, an anthemic banger? Is power naked and clothes on? Is power knowing all that goes on and still going on? Is it more powerful to just use your power to capitalize? In America, most powers with a few capitalist guys, but is that really power?
Yeah, is it power? People say, hey, that's just the way the world works, right? I can use my power or my influence to benefit me. Now, is that power, or is that taking advantage of other people's lack of power?
We all rugs to the power vacuum in practice, but I wonder if we lifted what we see under. Strength, weight. When you have more, the greatest measure of power is restraint.
Yeah.
When you have less, it's resilience in how you choose to reveal it. Power ain't all the same, but there's certain power worth feeling to me. Peace is power, learning from defeat is power. Understanding we devour people when our ego cowers power. Homie, self-critique is power. Daring to love people's power. Making it home in one piece is power. Empathy for enemies is power. Behold to me.
I kind of zoned out a little bit. I want to run it back.
Power ain't all the same, but there's certain power worth feeling to me. Peace is power. Learning from defeat is power. Understanding we devour people when our ego cowers power. Homie, self-critique is power. Daring to love people's power. Making it home in one piece is power. Empathy for enemies is power. But hold on, don't you get me wrong. I'm from New York, where the streets is power. Where that ground beneath your feet is power. Where whoever's willing to get lethal's power. And that ain't lost on me, so all this metaphor, allegory, shit I speak ain't power. My honesty is power. It's power, daring to love people's power. Making it home in one piece is power. Empathy for enemies is power. But hold on, don't you get me wrong. I'm from New York, where the streets is power. Where that ground beneath your feet is power. Where whoever's willing to get lethal's power. And that ain't lost on me, so all this metaphor, allegory, shit I speak ain't power. My honesty is power, homie, my fear is power. It made me a rapper, and I can't promise that she'll answer before. As long as I can't, bro, I'ma speak the power until I tweak it sour. And I'ma shout my shit, and I'ma try real hard to not let them control me with power. I hope I'm strong enough to concede the power needed to give me the power.
That's just deep. And, he didn't, I don't know how many times he said power throughout the video. But again, I love his point because it's really, I don't think there's necessarily an answer, right? There's not an answer that he's looking for, but it's just something that makes you think, right? It gets the conversation going. And, anybody that's able to do that, I think we owe him at least breaking down these lyrics, right? Breaking down the bars. But what is power? What do you do when you get power? And does taking advantage of power or influence wrong? These are all questions that we could probably write an article about, a blog post on. But it does make you think, especially when you become a person of power or influence. What is asked of you, right? What is it? Do you also need to, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Let's say someone like a YouTube reactor, someone that's got 5 million subscribers. You have a platform. If you have that platform and there's issues that come about, are you obligated to speak on them? Are you obligated to hold a position? It's just really interesting, man. I love that he gets this conversation going. Any intellectual comments or thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comment section. But it's great. Thank you again for having me check this out. Probably not something I would have went to just because it's so, what's the word? There's not a lot of wordplay, right? So it doesn't really need an intellectual breakdown. But at the same time, it stimulates intellectual conversation. So grateful for it. And if there's any other Marlon Craft, man, we've been making our way through his catalog. Now, that's what happens when I become a fan, right? You can see it with Toby Wigway. You can see it with Marlon Craft, with Ciroc. They're just artists that I never explored, didn't really know much about until someone in the comment section put me on. So, if you're a fan of great music and intellectual conversation, man, I hope you can join the channel, show some love. We just started the channel right at the start of the year. We're already pushing about 500 subscribers. So, we're really looking to grow this. And, if there's any artists that you want me to check out, let me know as well.